Our very special guest is Ken Thompson, Brooklyn District Attorney. Welcome back to Reaching Out. This is your second time on the show.
Thank you for having me, Greg.
Thank you for coming back. We would like to begin our conversation by asking you about something of great concern to Local 237 members, crime in and around NYCHA developments where our members work and live. Could you first share the statistics on crime in NYCHA developments in Brooklyn?
Well, the good thing about what's going on in NYCHA in Brooklyn is that the index crimes, the major crimes like murder, felony assault, burglaries, all of those type of crimes are down in NYCHA in Brooklyn, down about 15% today. So that's a good thing. But obviously we need to do more to make sure that we protect all of the residents and employees who live and work in NYCHA.
One way you've been targeting gang activity is with a new effort, your Crime Strategies Unit. Please tell us about that effort. And I applaud you for targeting gang activity because in the past it's gone unnoticed, and we tend to forget that children can be dangerous when left to their own devices and gangs and nobody challenging them and giving them constructive things to do.
Well, many of the shootings that occur in Brooklyn and really throughout the city are being done by young men who are in or affiliated with gangs. And so what we need to do is we need to focus on these young men. We need to make sure that we have a strategy to deal with this gun violence. I mean, gun violence is prevalent not only in New York City, but as we all know, throughout the country, from Brooklyn to New Orleans to Chicago to LA. What we're doing in Brooklyn is this new unit, the Crime Strategies Unit, is designed to stop the gun violence before it begins. You see, Greg, most DAs around the country, we react to gun violence, right? There's a shooting. We hope that there's an arrest made. Then we put the person on trial. We prosecute them. We convict them. We put them away. But we have to do more than that. We have to figure out ways to stop the gunfire before it begins. And so the Crime Strategies Unit that I created is designed to make sure that we focus on the drivers of crime. Now, many of these shootings are being done, not just in Brooklyn, but around the country, but only a small number of individuals. And these individuals come in and out of the criminal justice system all the time, and we don't pay attention to them. But now we're starting to pay attention to them. So when these drivers of crime are arrested, we get alerted. We have a database in the Brooklyn DA's office with thousands of names. And when any of these individuals are arrested, we spring into action because our goal is to keep them off the streets. And so the Crime Strategies Unit is a proactive unit designed based on working closely with the NYPD to identify the drivers of crime, and when we can keep them off the streets, we do. So it's not reactive, it's proactive in many ways.
On March 7th of this year, which is 2015, our member, caretaker Tony Jackson, went to work, and she unfortunately did not return from work. And when they went to look for it was a Saturday, they found her dead, and she was underneath one of the apparatuses that was used to haul trash upstairs. It was sort of a dumbwaiter. And the medical examiner's office ruled that she died of a heart attack. And subsequently, there was our report, and we didn't think it was a heart attack. We thought the apparatus landed on her and killed her. And the Department of Investigation did a report that was totally opposite of what the medical examiner said. And you are currently looking into this, and I know you can't comment on it, but we just want to thank you publicly for just taking a look at this case.
Well, let me just make it clear, Greg. You called me and asked me to look into it as the Brooklyn DA because this was such an important matter. I mean, Ms. Jackson was working in the Coney Island houses. I believe she had 2 children. And so you presented it to us, and it is under review. All the cases that we get, we look at seriously, and we're looking at this one as well.
And thank you. And the members of Local 237 and the people of New York City, thank you for just not just letting this go. And at the end, whatever the findings are, the findings are. But we just thank you for just taking a look at it.
Sure.
As I understand it, the case is involving a police officer, Lang, who is charged with fatally shooting Akai Gurley in the Pink Houses in Nitro Development, is still in the pre-trial stages. So I know it was not appropriate for you to discuss an ongoing prosecution, but without saying anything about the case, we just wanted to make that acknowledgement because of our members in housing and what's going on.
Yeah, what I can say is that we are determined to make sure that Officer Liang is given a fair trial, because what happened in the stairway that back in November was a tragedy. And so the case is now, as you said, at the pretrial stages, and we intend to be fair to Officer Liang, and we intend to present the evidence that we have.
And unfortunately, we are at the end of our program. We thank you, Mr. Thompson, DA Thompson, for coming on. And you have an open-ended invitation. Anytime you need to come on, you want to say something, you're welcome to come back. We're only a phone call away.
Greg, thank you so much, sir.